You have to understand your value, especially nowadays. I mean, if you don't know your value by now, you're gonna be, man, you're gonna go through so much hell, because the only thing that you see with the spread of narcissism in this society is that there's a cesspool of individuals that they like to use and abuse people. And that's all they do. Like, there's no love in this broken society. And so the best way to survive is by, practicing self-preservation. And that comes with knowledge, so that you don't become destroyed by these wicked ways that is glorified in this broken society. It's considered, a great thing to be it that way, which is so sad to think that a lot of people really think that being toxic, it's celebrated. It's something that is, people wear like a badge of honor. The more souls they destroy, they're like points. They think they're scoring points the more people they destroy. Now you tell me, how long can a society last when you have a bunch of people running around with that mindset? It's gonna collapse. I mean, with that kind of behavior, what it does, it destroys family. I mean, it already did. It's already, like, damn near most families, more than half of so-called American families are broken. Broken in so many different ways because of that destructive mindset that has spread like a wildfire. And so, man, you have got to protect your heart, because you have to understand your value, and what you're willing to give is rare. Okay, so forget all that shit about what social media is saying. Forget all that stuff about you gotta have a certain amount of money to be valuable, or you have to, have a certain type of look or appearance to be attractive, because the fact of the matter is that you're more attractive than you think. Energetically, spiritually, you have a lot of great qualities. This society is not promoting the growth. It doesn't promote spiritual or personal growth. No, it's promoting having a carnal mind, and not just a carnal mind, but a hive mind that only believes in the lies that is spread. Only believes in anything that feeds into the illusion of this broken society, that tells you that you have to be a degenerate to be cherished and appreciated. You have to basically be like everybody else, which means follow the ways of destruction. You can't tell me that's not true. It is, absolutely. Always remember that you have to really, really recognize your value, because if you don't, these covert narcissists, they're going to capitalize off of your lack of self-awareness. When you're not aware of the value that you carry, oh, trust me, they know. The covert narcissists, they know that you're valuable. They just don't want you to know. They don't want to validate your worth. They don't want to really admit how great you are and how much you have to offer them. But the only, how you have a lot to offer is the fact that they targeted you. So if you're wondering, why do you keep attracting these so-called narcissists, right? It's because you have something to give. You have a lot to give. And narcissists only deal with people that have a lot to lose. Okay, so now they might try to make you feel like you're nothing, like you're this, like, oh, you're stupid or whatever. In reality, they're really hoping that you are stupid, quote unquote. They're really hoping that you lack the self-awareness and you lack the spiritual vision to see right through them and to see, hey, this person is no good for you. That's what they're hoping for. That's why. But the thing is, as far as your value is there. It's just that they're really hoping that you don't recognize that, and that's why I keep reminding you guys that you have to recognize your value, because then, like I said, they'll try to rob you in any way they can, financially, spiritually, mentally, all of that. they'll do that, and then if you're still asleep, I mean, if you still remain asleep after all the stuff they've done to you, they're only going to continue until there's nothing left. And once there's nothing left, of course, they just go on to the next one. Because when it comes to narcissists, man, they're soulless creatures. They don't care about loving you. They don't care about, I mean, think about this. What made a narcissist in the first place? They refuse to heal, right? They refuse to take accountability. They refuse to elevate. They refuse to, all those things, right? So a person that rejects healing, a person that rejects wisdom, how can you expect a person like that to love you back? It's impossible. A person that refuses healing, knowledge, wisdom, they are incapable of loving you. They can't do it, and they don't even want to. Because when you reject healing, you're rejecting the very thing that could give you the ability to love, right? If you reject knowledge, I mean, how can you really cultivate any meaningful connection with anyone? If you reject wisdom, then you're just a foolish person. And that's essentially what a narcissist is that they're very foolish, But see, they hide behind this mask of grandiosity, like, oh, they know so much. Oh, they're so smart. Oh, they're so above you. If that's the case, why do they need to rob from you, right? If they're so great, if they have all of this stuff, why do they have to always take from people and take their energy on top of that? People always talk about the money. No, some of us have been hurt and we ain't got money like that. So it's also on an energetic level, and that's the part that hurts too, because you could always get your money back. And I understand nobody likes to lose money. I get it, especially when you have a lot of it. But it's not just that, it's your energy, man. Your energy, and the fact that heartbreak really, really does a number on a person. Betrayal, rejection, not just rejection, but like that person, they pretended like they loved you. They pretended like they chose you, like you were the one. And then they turn around and they basically said, fuck you. And, took everything from you, that level of betrayal, finding out that love was fake the whole time. That's the part that hurts the most. Is like everything from the very beginning was a plot against you. It was a plot to just take from you. They never intended to give. But you got to ask yourself, you cannot expect a person like that, a narcissist, to give you anything, because essentially they have nothing to give. So it's not because you're not worthy of receiving beautiful things. It's not because of that. It's not because you're not worthy. See, they're going to try to say that to you because that's their way of running from accountability. It's not because you didn't deserve to be loved. It's not because you're unlovable. It's because they are incapable of loving others. They have chosen the path of destruction. They basically, that was never their intention. And also, they don't have love to give because they don't even love themselves. They were looking for someone to fill their void. And that's it. They never intended to do they don't even try to do any work. Like I said, they reject the healing. So when a person rejects healing, how can that person love another person? They can't even love themselves. They have relinquished the gifts that could have saved them. They don't want to be saved, just like J. Cole says, don't save her. She don't want to be saved. Yes, just like that. And you can apply that. You can apply that too. It could be a female or a male. It does not matter. A narcissist is a narcissist. An abuser is an abuser. It's the same thing. It's not a gender. I don't look at it as a gender thing because, again, there's men and women out there that have suffered in the same way at the hands of these soulless creatures. So it's always been good versus evil. It's always been like that, you have to really recognize this, and this is why it's important for you to dedicate as much time as you need to really cultivate that sense of, you have to cultivate a strong sense of self-esteem. And there's a lot of recovery that needs to be done. If you have a lot of wounds, you have deep wounds, chronic emotional pain, from so many things, like from your childhood, your early years, all that stuff. You have a lot of work to do. And like I said, don't be so quick to just oh, you need somebody in your life. No, you need you right now. You need God, first of all. You need God, and you need to spend some time, to yourself, because what is out there is just, you're not missing out. When you live by the Spirit, you don't allow your flesh to control you. You don't allow it to push you into, oh yeah, you just want some love and affection. That's not really love, by the way. People always say they want love and affection. Affection does not equate love. Love is something deeper than that. Love is an abstract thing, but it's very real and it's powerful, right? Affection disguises itself as love, but a lot of times it could be lust, and sometimes people are taken by lust. Lust is what drives people into toxic and abusive situations, because these abusive people, they like to be real affectionate and stuff like that. Now, I'm not saying that that's for everybody. Some people are affectionate because some of us are affectionate because that's what it is. That's a normal thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But in its proper context, affection is great. But you also have to keep in mind that there are abusive people that will use affection against you. They'll do anything. I'm telling you, that's part of seduction. They will do anything to basically solidify themselves in your life, so that they can have that control over you, and that way they can take from you, right? So there's a lot of that, but in this day and time, you have to really recognize your value, because going through heartbreak, is a very intensely painful experience. And this is why there's a lot of things you have to master. You have to master emotional maturity and spiritual maturity. Now, what is a sign of mastering emotional maturity? Well, that is when the love bombing does not faze you. You can detect it, and I'm not saying like, being paranoid and stuff, because I know for some of us, we thought we didn't know the difference between love bombing and someone genuinely showing love. But that's part of the healing process, is knowing the difference between the two, and being able to recognize genuine love from people, and not being so defensive about every fucking thing, because that's what the narcissists will do. They turn you into somebody that's very, very defensive, But some of us, man, we already graduated from that. We know who's real. We know who's not. And that's the beauty of this journey, is that on the other side, your discernment becomes a lot sharper, because now because you've been through that journey of like, okay, yeah, that's a real love, that's fake love. I know what this is now, right? And that's the beauty of it. But see, the narcissist never wanted you to get to that point. The narcissist wanted you to forever just be stuck and never truly find real love, whether it's a relationship or friendships, or just people in general that really care about you and respect you. It could be acquaintances, anybody. Sometimes people walk past you and they just feel good about your presence. The narcissist doesn't like that. They don't like when people admire and respect you, because especially if they talked a lot of shit and they smeared your name to everyone, yeah, it's gonna look really bad, because obviously it doesn't really line up with reality, because people see you for who you are, and over time they can see that you're a virtuous person, virtuous man or woman, like for real, like you have been tested, you've been tested with temptations and all this stuff, and you still did the right thing. You still held on to integrity, because that's the kind of person that you are. That's who you really are. And if you're that kind of person, especially in these days and times, you are extremely rare. Understand your rarity, okay? Fuck all that, surface level shit. Oh, I don't think I look as pretty, or I'm not as handsome, or I don't make enough money, or whatever the hell it is. Whatever insecurity you have, I'm telling you right now, your loyalty, integrity, respect, and your willingness to learn, and your willpower, and also the strength, the spiritual strength that you've gathered, your wisdom, definitely knowledge, and the fact that you're continuously investing into your personal growth and spiritual walk. All these things are very rich. These are things that make you wealthy. Spiritual wealth it gets overlooked in this world because people are simple. You know, people that are simple minded, they don't appreciate real value, which comes from within, not externally. You know, because finances is external value. You know, that's, people see it. Oh, this paper, right? Again with the fucking paper. Oh, I got this paper that makes me better. No, you're goofy. All right, you're goofy as hell. All that paper doesn't make you better than the next person. You know. So understand, you have people that have all that paper, but they have no wisdom. So essentially, who's really wealthy, right? So understand, you are a very rare person in this day and time. You know, when you recognize that, you're not worried about the little insecurities you might have had. You know, everybody has them. You don't even give a shit because you're continuously working on yourself. You're continuously, you know, you work out, you read books, you do whatever you do, you eat healthy, you know, all these different things that you get into. You find new ways to make money. You got hobbies, creativity. You have so much going on, right? You have peace. That's key. You have a peace of mind, and you know how to bring peace in a person's life. You know how valuable that is? Because people just want to bring you hell. That's all they want to do. I mean, they can look good, right? They can look good, but they bring you nothing but fucking hell, right? And pain and bullshit. That's what most people in this society, that's what they got to offer you. You know, that's why I wasn't really taken aback by, you know, looks, you know, like, and I'm not saying like you can, I understand, like, you want someone that looks decent, you know, they take care of themselves and stuff like that. You want someone that looks appealing in some way. But sometimes people take it too far where, you know, they will overlook all the red flags in the world. Like, this person could be a walking red flag, but because they look so good and they look so attractive, you know, physically, you know, they're willing to allow them to walk all over them just because of that. And that is a problem, because you cannot allow a person to mistreat you just because they look good. You know, it's not good. And see, that's another thing too, is that some of these narcissists that look, you know, they look appealing, they look good, they're looking for people that they view as a sucker. You know, they're going to see you as a sucker because you're letting them walk all over you just because, oh, because they look good. That's the reason why people are fucked up today, is because they can get away with so much because, oh, because they look so good, they can get away with anything, you know, and they use that, and because it works, because people fall for it. You know, people are led by lust. People are led by carnal desires. They're not led by wisdom. They're not led by anything like that. It's like, it's all about, oh, you look good, you know. This is both men and women. You know, we know that men drool over the beautiful women, and then but you also have women too. You have women that have money, right? They got a lot of money and all this stuff going on, but it's like, it's like they see a guy, oh, he's so fine, you know, he has this, he has that, he looks good and all that, and you find out the guy has nothing to offer, like literally nothing to offer. Like, he's not even smart, nothing. It's just, oh, he just has a six-pack and he's tall and that's it. And then you find out this guy's abusive as hell, because deep down he knows that you can do better than him. But you don't realize that because you're so stuck on looks. You're so stuck on, oh, he's so fine. You don't realize that this person is a fucking demon. Seriously, watch out for those sexy demons. Seriously, because they're both men and women. They can come into your life and they will destroy every aspect of it. So be very careful with that. You have to really recognize what true value in a human being really is, and it goes beyond looks. I mean, they can look good, that's fine, they can look good, but it has to be more than just looking good. It has to be way more than that. You know, because that's like the basic part of when you meet someone. Let's just be honest. Most people, right? What appeals to a person is their eyes, right? Like, what appeals to a person is the appearance, right? When you first meet someone, like, whoa, this person's very attractive, right? Of course, that's a normal response to a person that's attractive. Okay, but now you have to have enough sense to say, well, they may look good, but we don't know what's in the brain. What do we have going on in the brain? You know, what do we have going on within, right? The soul. Do we even have a soul? Because some of these people are soulless, you know, but they get a pass because of how they look, right? And then they don't even go through the whole, you know, when you get on a plane, right? You have the TSA agents. They have to check your bags, your luggage. They have to check you. They have to make sure that you pass all these, you know, checks, these checkpoints to make sure, okay, now it's safe for you to board this flight. That's how you have to be when you are vetting these people out. You have to be like that. You have to be like, okay, let's see if you pass the test, right? You have to, okay, yeah, you look good. You look like you don't carry any explosives, but you never know. That person could have some weapons on them. And, you know, this is an analogy I'm describing, you know, because these narcissists, these covert narcissists, they have weapons. It's just that it's invisible, but you have to be able to detect it, you know, like when you put the baggage, you know, when you put the baggage on the thing, on a conveyor belt, and it scans to see if there's anything hidden within the, you know, like the any fluids that may contain, if it's flammable and stuff like that, right? All that stuff. That's kind of what the covert narcissist is. They carry these hidden weapons, you know, and you have to check. You have to make sure that they don't have anything on them that could be a threat to your flight, right? Your flight is your elevation. You know, you're trying to go somewhere, and you can't just let this covert narcissist in your plane, you know, because they're gonna try to hijack that thing, and then you're gonna end up you're going to end up crashing into something, right? And then there you go, there's your elevation. It's over, you know. That's how they destroy your purpose, and that's how they destroy your life. They rob you of everything, both financially and energetically, spiritually. Hell, even your mental health, it crashes and it burns along with it, along with your legacy. Your legacy is pretty much done after you deal with these creatures, because that's basically what they live for. They live for destruction. They live for, you know, trying to take. And the reason why they do this is because it works. They do it because it works. You know how many people they've destroyed throughout their life? I mean, all they had to do was look good. Because that's how simple-minded a lot of people are, unfortunately. I'm sorry, but people are simple. Like, they're easy. Like, you know, ooh, he looks good. Ooh, she looks good. Like, really? Is that it? Can you imagine, like, you just let somebody get on board your plane and you don't even check nothing. You don't even see, okay, does this person have an explosive? Does this person have this? Any weapons on them? You don't even care. You just, oh, you look good, you can come through. Like, are you serious? Are you fucking dumb? Like, don't be stupid out here. Seriously, especially now. And then I'll be honest with you. I don't know, maybe it's because, like, the more you grow spiritually, you start to look at people differently. You know, you actually look, you know, beyond the flesh. Like, okay, the flesh is attractive, you know, but the outside is attractive, but the inside is disgusting. And you have to have that sight. That's important, because now you're like, this person doesn't even look good to you anymore. Because, like, you see how ugly they are inside, and you're just like, you know, you might as well, like, not even look their way. Because, like, what is there? Just nothing. They're soulless. If you can see this person is soulless, despite how pretty or how handsome they might look, I mean, you're just like, there's nothing there. So what can you really cultivate if there's nothing there, you know? They don't have the capacity to really connect with you on an emotional level. So what is the point? Like, there's nothing there. There's no point. Not even to have intimacy, because in order to have intimacy, you have to have a connection, at least for some of us, right? Especially us, you know, if you're a person with a lot of depth, you want that connection. And if that connection is unable to be, you know, if you can't start a connection, then the intimacy is pretty much non-existent, because it's not going to really, you're not going to be aroused at that point. And that's the importance of having a high vibration. When you have a high vibration, it's like you don't even feel aroused even in the presence of someone that is very attractive looking, because you require more than attractiveness for you to even want to lay down with this person, you know. And you can be, like I said, you could say this person is attractive, but essentially you don't know who they are, and you know that, and you recognize that this person could be a possible threat to your life, you know. Now, for some of us that have been through things in our early years, we learned this early, we mastered this, and we realized that, you know, going by looks alone is dangerous, you know. Going by attractiveness, going by looks is dangerous. It really is. And I'm not joking when it comes to that. You know, there's women that, you know, end up with having kids with the wrong man because, oh, well, he's so fine. It's like, really? That's all it took? Oh, he's so fine and he made me laugh and he makes me feel good. You can't make yourself laugh? Can't make yourself feel good? You know, this is why you have to cultivate your own self-esteem. You have to really, You have to be comfortable in your own company. You have to appreciate your solitude. You have to love yourself enough to say, hey, if this person is showing red flags, which there's a lot of red flags out here, there's a lot of them, and people overlook it because, oh, they look good. Like, that's the main reason why some people get trapped in these dynamics. Now, I know there's other reasons too, don't get me wrong, but let's just be real. People are hypnotized by attractive people. That's what it is. And this is why you need to increase your vibration, right? You have to grow spiritually, and you have to really work on yourself, because that way you're going to be in that position where you're like, you require more than just looks. Because looks don't mean shit, to be honest. It doesn't. It really, really doesn't. You could be with someone that looks so good, but they don't feed you in any way. Like, you're not being fed emotionally, spiritually, nothing. It's just like it's like a statue. It's like having a mannequin, for a boyfriend or girlfriend. It's like, okay, they make you look good, but do you feel good around them? And then don't let them give you hell, because they can. You know why? Because they're so used to getting away with stuff. They're so used to, like, people letting them, do whatever they want. They're so used to people saying yes all the time that they don't feel the need to really earn any respect. They don't feel the need to respect you. They don't feel the need to even do anything for you, because they're so used to people just bowing down to them and doing whatever. They're so used to people, using people and using their looks to get people to do what they want, right? They're so used to manipulating people, in that way, that they don't feel like they have to earn anything from you. They feel that's where that entitlement comes in, the sense of entitlement, like, and so you start to give you hell, and they give you hell because they know you're not going to leave them, because they're so attractive, right? That's an ugly trait, a person can look good and still have good character, but that comes with life's trials, going through certain experiences. It really shapes you, right? And when you have that, that sets you apart from these other people that I'm talking about, that they're very shallow. They're so used to getting by with their looks. They don't understand that shit is not going to age well when you're not cultivating wisdom. You really think these people are cultivating wisdom? Of course not, because they're entitled. They are entitled, and they're used to getting away with stuff and getting their way all the time. So yeah, no, they're not going to cultivate wisdom. But for some of us, of course, we're set apart in the sense that we can be attractive and possess this substance that we have, the qualities, the character, and all that. That's the beautiful thing about it. So I don't want, hey, there's people that look good, that are, attractive inside and out. That exists. It does, but it's not as common, and that's another thing that makes you rare. You're rare because you focus on building attractiveness, not only on the outside, but even inside. Right? Inside and out attractiveness, and all around, just all around, right? There's not a lot of people like that, because again, we live in a very retarded society where it doesn't really challenge people. It doesn't build character. It's just, you just get what you want, right? Oh, just give me what I want, just entitlement. Me. I should get this, I should get that. Who told you that you deserve that? First of all, you got to earn it. They don't know the definition of earning, because a lot of times these people, they don't know what it's like to go without. Now, for some of us, we've been without for a while. We've been deprived of certain things growing up. So by the time we get older, it's like we already built this character of wanting to get our own thing and wanting to accomplish things, and we have accomplished a lot of things, and that makes us way more attractive, because not only do we look good on the outside, but we are very attractive in the inside, which makes us so magnetic. And because of that, that makes you a rarity. That makes us a rarity. And because once you recognize your rarity, you have got to protect your heart with your life.